Hello viewers, welcome to QTP functional testing videos. Myself Uday. In this video, I would like to demonstrate about importance of SendKeys method. In our day-to-day life of automation, we may come across a situation where we may need to enter some special keys like any of the functional keys or else the combination of functional keys like Alt, Control or Shift, or else you may need to come across a situation where you have to click functional keys like F1, F2 till F12, right? So in order to simulate this keystroke combination or a single key input from our keyboard, we have to use SendKeys method, which is there in WScript object. All right. So the real-time usage of this is like, for example, you might have a scenario to close the application by Alt F4 combination, right? Or else you might have a scenario where you have to enter some value in a edit box, and after clicking on tab button the next control will be enabled. So for that, what you have to do is you have to enter some value, like you can use the set method of that web edit, and after clicking on tab button the next control will be enabled. All right. So in order to do that, there you have to enter the tab button, right? To do that, what you have to use is you have to use SendKeys method. All right. So uh, like not only that, there might be some scenarios like where the control will accept only the input from the keyboard, right? So during that time, what we have to do is we have to use this set case method. There is a difference between using the set method of webEdit and send keys method. Like in set method, like for example webEdit of set, what it will do is it will set the text property of that control, right, to the whatever the value that you have supplied, but it is not physically entering the text that is provided. But SendKeys method, what it will do is it will simulate, like it is like as a human, how we enter the text in a text box, it will enter the text in that box. All right. So to demonstrate that, what I will do is like what I mean to what I'm trying to say here is, for example, mm, let me take a flight reservation application. So for example, say I will add one of the object like so to enter a value, what we do is like dot set. When I'm saying, when I use the set method, what it will do is it will set the text property of this control to whatever the text I have given, right? But it is not physically entering, like pressing keyboard input in this control. What it do is it will set the text property of this control to whatever the string that we have supplied. All right. But in order to simulate our, like as a human, we will be entering the data right in our keyboard, right? So in order to do such kind of simulation, we have to use SendKeys method. But for the normal text, we may be using the set method, but there are situations where we will be using special functional keys like Alt F4, which I was mentioning, like F4, Tab, or Shift button, right? During those scenarios, we have to use SendKeys method. All right. So let's go to the presentation. We will go. I will demonstrate each and every point in this video. All right. So SendKeys method is used to send one or more keystroke combination to the active window. Here the point is we have to set the focus to the active window. So what does it mean is, when this statement is executed, whatever the like the wherever the focus is existing in the application, it will enter or perform that operation, right? To make sure that we have to use the active window, we need to make sure that the object existing in the right place. All right, and the syntax for the SendKeys method is WScript.SendKeys of whatever the string that you want. Here is the example. First we need to create the WScript object. All right, WScript.shell. Once that object is created, you can use the SendKeys method. Here the character, the string might be a single character, or it could be a combination of characters, or it can be a combination of special characters with functional keys, whatever it is. All right, in order to send a space in that text string, you can use the simple space. All right, we can send more than one keystroke at a time by combination of all keys. Okay, let me demonstrate these things in here. For example, I want to enter a single value. How can I do that? So rather than entering this, what I need to make sure that is like, I need to set the focus at the right place, right? So see, now my control is here, and I'm also making sure that I will be in the right window. For that, what I'm doing is login dot activate method, so that the application will activate this dialog box. All right, after this dialog box is activated, my control is at the other name button, right? So now here what I will do is I will create a WScript object. For that, what I use WScript equal to create object of WScript.shell, which will create the instances of WScript object. Once you have this object, you can use the SendKeys method. Dot SendKeys method. All right. So here, what first initially, let me start with entering some single character. For example, say I want to enter U in this edit box, right? Because you just make sure that wherever is the focus is there, the value will be entered that point. So in your automation, make sure that the object is at the right place. All right, so let me execute this. One second, I will set some setting. I'm just running it. Yes, you can see whatever the character that we have input here, that character is entered in the right control, right? For example, say you would like to enter more than one character. How can you do that? For that, what you have to do is you have to give the entire string in the double quotes. All right. So just let me see. I want to enter Uday in this edit box because my see this control is focusing at this point. I want to enter Uday, right? So once you just execute it, let's see whether it is getting set the value or not, right? As you can see, it said whatever the input value that we entered here, right? So that is what there in the presentation for slide. I hope you have understand, and we will go to the next slide. Okay, there are some special characters like plus, caret, or open parenthesis or closing parenthesis. In order to enter these values, what we have to do is we have to put that character in double curly braces, right? So see, I will demonstrate you in our example. For example, say there is a situation where I want to enter, like, the real time scenarios might be like you have to enter the input value only using keyboard in for example, like, there is a bank website where you have to enter the value from keyboard, you might have set the password in a special characters, right? So where the password might contain plus sign or caret sign or whatever it is. So to enter those kind of values, you have to input plus sign. For example, say my password is something like Uday Kumar. In order to enter this value here, if you use the same thing, like let me execute this and show you what exactly is input here. As you can see, it is just inputting the character, whereas it is not entering the plus sign here, right? As you can see, it didn't include plus sign. But how can I include the plus sign? For that, what we have to do is these special characters should be enclosed in the curly braces. All right. Let us see now what is getting entered here. As you can see, now the plus sign is entered, right? Like this. What about, like, I want to enter double my name in, say, Uday. I want to enter in a curly braces. Let's see what is getting inputted here. As you can see, it throws some error whenever I would like to enter all this kind of curly braces. To enter my name in these curly braces, what I have to do is, you have to enclose that character with these curly braces. Alright, this is how you need to enter that value, so that the value the curly, so whatever the name we are inputting, that will be enclosed with curly braces. Let me execute now and show you what exactly is inputting there. As you can see, this name is enclosed in curly braces now. Alright, so not only with the plus and curly brackets, all these characters should be enclosed in these curly braces. Alright, and in the next point, what I mean to say is, there are other keystrokes which don't generate characters like enter. For example, if you enter a x whatever it is, it will click on that and that will be displayed in the application. But when you click and enter, it doesn't show any character in the application, but whereas it performs some actions, right? Like enter, tab, uh, like that. All right, and there are some other uh, keys which will perform some action. For example, say you have set some text and you want to delete the last character for that. So what you have to do is, you have to use the backspace button, right? So those kind of, like, combinations that we can set with the using SendKeys method, right? So let me show you. So these are the special characters that we have to use in SendKeys method. All right, like for backspace, you can use any of these values. For delete, but delete button simulation, you can use these two: page up, page down. Generally, the like, most used one are shift, control, alt, and enter. So for this, in order to click enter, what you have to do is, you have to use the entire word, or you can use just single this character. For shift, what you have to do is, you have to click on the plus sign. Alright, so let me demonstrate you so that you will get a clarity. Um, okay, alright. So what I would like to do here is, I want to enter, for example, how you will enter, like, I want to enter the name as Uday. Alright, so when you click on U, it will be a small letter, right? But I would like to enter a capital U there. So how can I do that? For that, what we generally do, we can use the shift U and after that DAY. So these are the normal case letter, whereas in order to input capital U, you have to use the shift method, right? So for that, let me demonstrate you that. So when I say what is the for shift button, what you have to do is you have to use the plus sign, right? So for that I'm using plus. Here see, I am entering small letters like UDAY is in small letter, but plus I am applying it for the string. So let's see what exactly is getting displayed, what is the value set here. So as you can see, when I run it, did you guys observe that even though I set a plus small letter U, here it input the capital U because of the shift button is applied to the first character, right? So how can you enter, like the entire string I would like to enter in capital letters. So what I need to do is I need to use like the entire string combination, like this Uday I am enclosing in a braces so that the shift is applied to the entire string, right? Let me demonstrate you that. Run it. As you can see, the entire string is displayed in capital letters, right? So in that way you can simulate any key combination, right? All right. So for example, say I would like to close this dialog box. Here I can close this dialog box by just clicking on cancel button, or else even I can close this by manually. Now I'm clicking Alt F4. Let's see whether it is getting closed or not. See, by upon clicking on Alt F4, the dialog box gets closed, right? So I want to do the same thing using script. How can I do that? So we need to enter Alt F4, right? So for Alt, what we have to use is percentage sign, and F4. For that you have to use F4 in this curly braces, right? So let me demonstrate you that. So percentage and F4. All right. So let's see whether it is getting closed or not. So my intent here is I need to simulate, I need to set the focus on this dialog box. After that I need to click Alt F4. As you can see, it closed flight reservation application by simulating Alt F4. All right. Not only this, for example, you might, okay, let me demonstrate this one as well. For example, say I have flight reservation application where I can close this flight reservation application by just clicking Alt F and exit. All right. Now I'm just manually I'm manually do this Alt F X. As you can see, it closed that application. So for that I need to enter Alt F(x), right? So I would like to simulate the sorry, Mercury. All right. So just let me add this object so that I will make sure that it is pointing to the right object. I'm just adding this window. Okay, flight reservation window got activated. Here what I will do is I will make sure it is pointing to the right object, right? So window flight reservation dot activate. Okay, so the scenario what I need to do is here I need to enter Alt F(x), right? So I am for F, I'm I'm just entering F character, plus for X I'm entering this X character. Let's see whether it is getting it is closing that or not. As you can see, my flight application is ready, and I'm just figuring this step. As you can see, this combination for Alt we have used percentage, for F normal F and X, right? You can directly use directly fx as well. Let me straight use that one as well. All right. Let me give this. As you can see, by inputting this keystroke combination, it has closed the application. All right. That is how we use SendKeys method to input any of these functional, like simulating the keystroke of any of these functional characters, right? And there is another point, like you can enter single keystroke n number of times you want following this syntax. So what I mean to say here is, for example, say, let me open it. So I want to enter x 10 times. Okay, for that you need not to put a for loop to, like you need not to put a for loop here saying send, you use send keys method 10 times. I think you might got my point, right? For what I'm trying to say here, I want to 10, like you need not to use like this, right? Generally that is the general like approach that we follow to enter a value. But the SendKeys method is also capable of entering n number of times whatever the character that you specified by using the following syntax, like the one which I have mentioned. You need to put the whatever the character that you want, and after that n number of times. It can be a 5, 10, 20, or whatever it is, right? So for that, what I'm doing is put this in a curly brace. Say I'm giving 5. I would like to enter x 5 times in that control. So for that reason, I give x space 5, right? So let's see what is getting displayed here. Oh, sorry, it's my bad. One second. I need to set the dialog box to activate, right? So yeah, as you can see, whatever the character that you gave and the number of times that character will be set in this edit box, right? And that's what about this point. But you cannot enter the combination of keystrokes and number of times. So what I mean to say here is, for example, I cannot set alt x 5 times. If it is a single character like x, whatever the value it is, you can enter that. Like for example, you can enter like a tab 5 times, right? So for example, in control 1 you enter some text. After that, clicking on 5 times tab button 5 times, you have to enter another value. So for that, in order to do such kind of simulations, you can use this syntax. But the only restriction with this syntax is you cannot use the combination of characters. All right. So if it is a single character, you can follow this syntax to input the keystroke combination, right? So that's all in this video. Thanks for watching this video. Please leave your comments if you have any. Thank you.